The top 5 reasons to have a self-directed account. It's a big decision to do this, and I'm going to hit on the top 5 reasons. There's probably more, but I'm going to hit on the top 5, at least in my opinion. Okay, number 1, the buck stops with you and you take control. You're that kind of person. You like to have that responsibility. You don't like to outsource the responsibility to an advisor. Maybe you don't fully trust an advisor, or you just think you're better. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to, buck stops with you, you want to make those decisions, that's great. This is a great idea. You should have a self-directed account, no question about it. Number 2, to educate and empower yourself. Now, when I say educate and empower yourself, I'm really thinking of 2 things. Number 1, what does it mean to own a share? What does the stock market do? How does it function? Why does it exist? What's a bid ask? How to make a trade? Do I do a market order, limit order? All those sorts of things, stock market-y kind of things. You'll learn that stuff. But the bigger education you're going to get is how the world works. I mean, you have to consider everything when you're looking at stocks. First of all, let's just take sectors, okay? So consumer staple, consumer discretionary, energy, healthcare, materials, telecom, high tech, utilities. I mean, that's just a broad brush. And then you dive into each one of those areas, and they each have subsectors and subsectors, and there's thousands of companies to look at, and you got to understand how it works within the world. Like some of these companies have changed the world. Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, these companies have changed the world. So if you want to understand the stocks, you got to understand the world. You got to understand geopolitics. You got to understand domestic politics. You've got to understand weather, climate change, all of these things. I mean, it really is an endless education, and if you enjoy that, the stock market is a great way to learn, because your money will be on the line. And you'll definitely learn it, because you're going to want to do as well as you can. The next reason to have a self-directed account is fun. It's a rush. It's an enjoyable pastime. Whatever stage in life you're at, you might just enjoy the stock market. You might enjoy the rush. I enjoy the rush still. Every time I make a stock recommendation, I buy a stock myself, or even just put it in a report that I know my clients are going to read, I get a little nervous. I still want to get it right. I hate getting things wrong. I know I'm not going to get everything right. I'm okay with that. That's how it works. But I love it when it goes right. It feels great. It just feels so good, and you've done the analysis, and you've told your clients, and you put yourself out there, and it goes well. It's a rush. It really is. Again, you got to be okay with the mistakes you're going to make, because everybody makes mistakes, and that goes right. Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, Peter Lynch, all these guys have made mistakes. So you're going to make some, I guarantee it, but you need to be okay with it. Okay. But the rush, there's also the rush. So if you're not the kind of person that can handle the ups and downs, definitely not for you. And I'll do a video on who should not have a self-directed account. Okay, saving on fees. Yeah, every time I do this list, I always forget about this, and then it comes up in the slide, and it's like, oh, of course, saving on fees. Fees have gone down and down and down over the years. I'm going to do a video on the history, but really discount brokers, not online. Discount brokers started in 1975 with Charles Schwab. There were some new regulations out that allowed you to really lower your fees, and Charles Schwab was really the first one to take advantage of it, and they're still around, one of the top discount brokers today. And now you can do it online, and that's when things really started to take off for discount brokers and self-directed. Is late 90s and early 2000s, when you could actually get accounts online and do it, like literally do it yourself, not call anybody and direct them to do it, but literally do it yourself. And fees just have gone down and down. I think my first online trade was $50, and I was only buying $1,000 worth of shares, and it cost me $50. Well, now I could buy $10,000, $100,000 for $5. It's insane how low the fees are. So you're definitely going to save yourself on fees. Even if you're just an ETF, let's say you're an ETF versus stocks. ETFs are obviously low fees, and they have a purpose. But if you want to buy stocks, I think you can almost do it cheaper now because of the low trading fees. So I'm not sure, but I know it's low, and definitely huge advantage over having a broker in terms of fees. Okay, where are we going here? We're going to the next step, and the last one, and kind of conflicted about this as an idea, but it's possible there's a conflict of interest with a broker. A lot of brokers are my clients, and 99% of them are completely on the up and up, and there's no issues. But there could be inadvertent conflicts of interest, and for example, most brokers are going to always tell you to be fully invested. Okay, I don't tell you to be fully invested. Not all the time, most of the time. But there's that once every 8 to 10 years where you should just get out of the market altogether, or at least reduce your holdings as 50% or 30% or something, or 70% in stocks and 30% just in cash, just waiting on the sideline. Most brokers won't do that because they are paid on a percentage of your portfolio. I mean, that's not the reason necessarily. It's hard to know when to get out, so it's and buying and holding over the long term and being in the market in the long term has always proven to be right. So there's that. But I just think there's a time that you should be able to get out and just sit on the sidelines, and I think that's a big tool. So anyways, conflict of interest, let's not belabor it. It's not a huge, it's not the best reason, but it is a reason that you're doing it for yourself. It kind of goes back to number one. The buck stops with you. If you think you need to be out of the market, get out of the market. Okay, so it really ties in together. Let's do a quick recap and wrap up this video. The buck stops with you. You like to take control, to educate yourself and empower yourself. It's fun. It's a rush. It's an enjoyable pastime. You're going to save some money on fees. And you avoid any conflicts of interest because you're the one doing it. And of course, the only interest in that is you. So there are the 5 reasons, the top 5. There are more. One I always think of is just hitting that home run. You could buy the next Amazon, and that could be all you. I didn't put that in the list, but that's another reason. You could hit that home run and you'd love it. You feel so good. But okay, those are the 5 top reasons for owning your own self-directed account.